This is the 3D VIEW-MASTER adventure Land of the Lost, Abominable Snowman, an NBC television series. Jack Marshall, his nephew Will, and niece Holly have fallen through a hole in space into an eerie universe, the Land of the Lost. It's a land of ancient jungles where huge dinosaurs roam and strange people live, such as the ape-like Pacuni. Life is a daily battle for survival, and courageous, impulsive Holly often gets both herself and the other Marshalls into trouble. Holly has a problem in Reel 1. Picture 1. Watch and you'll learn how to make a cake, Chaka, said Holly. This is called the icing. Uncle Jack and Will are going to be surprised. Chaka, hungry, said the Pacuni boy. Meanwhile, Jack and Will were pushing through the jungle on their way home from a brief fishing trip. They heard a whinny in the underbrush and found, picture 2, an animal that looked like a pony, except that one horn grew from its forehead. The legendary unicorn. While Will offered the animal an apple, Jack slipped a rope around its neck. Let's take him home to Holly. Holly was delighted. A unicorn for a pet. I'm going to call him Coney. Hey, try some of my cake. Great, said Jack, as they all ate. Coney whined. He's thirsty, Holly decided. Chaka and I will take him to the water hole. Chaka thrust an extra piece of cake into his hiking pouch as they left. Picture 3. Just then, into the Marshall's compound strode Anik, an alien from the planet Althrusia. Anik was always finding fault with something, and as he saw Holly and Chaka leaving with the unicorn, he pointed dramatically at the animal. That unicorn is bad luck, Will Marshall, he proclaimed. He comes from the land of the snow. He is food for the tapir. The tapir will come here looking for him. The tapir will destroy us all. That unicorn is Holly's pet, stated Jack, and I'm not going to make her give it up. Then I will, declared Anik. He started after Holly and Chaka. Picture 4. We'll teach Coney to do tricks, said Holly as they reached the waterhole, and the unicorn drank thirstily. Oh, look, Chaka, there's a big patch of giant strawberries over there, through the bushes. Let's pick some while Coney's drinking. As they began to pick, they heard the unicorn whinny as if in fright. They ran back to the waterhole. Coney was gone. Picture 5. Anik came marching up the path, planted himself in front of Holly and Chaka, the unicorn. Turn him loose, Holly Marshall. He's disappeared. I'm afraid he's in trouble, said Holly anxiously. Coney, Coney! Suddenly, Chaka, standing near the waterhole, began to jump excitedly. He pointed to the ground. Holly, Jack, come look. Holly ran to see. In the path were enormous ape-like footprints, and beside them were the tiny prints of the unicorn. Picture 6. Anik joined them and looked down. He pointed at the big footprints. Tapir, he said ominously. Tapir has come from the land of the snow to take the unicorn. He will kill and eat it. I warned you. Nobody, I don't care how big his feet are, is going to hurt Coney, much less eat him, vowed Holly. Come on, Chaka, we've got to save Coney. Suddenly, far ahead of Holly and Chaka, an echo scream shook the forest. Picture 7. Tapir come down from snow place high on mountain to unfriendly forest. Tabba look for his Toki animal with one horn. Tabba hungry, want to kill Toki, eat it. Tabba find Toki in forest. Tabba angry at bad forest for stealing Toki. Tabba yell at forest. In Reel 2, a dangerous adventure. Picture 1. Holly and Chaka froze in fear, listening to the unearthly scream. "That not a people," said Chaka in an awed whisper. "It's not an animal either," replied Holly. Then she straightened. "Come on, Chaka. Tabba may be dangerous, but we can outsmart him." Picture 2. They followed the huge footprints up the slope of the mountain, higher and higher. "It's cold," shivered Holly, hugging herself against the gusty wind. The tracks led to a deep chasm, bridged by a log. "Come on," urged Holly. "He has crossed over the gorge here, and we've got to follow him." Wearily, they inched their way across. As they reached the other side, a familiar whinny sounded through the trees ahead. They scrambled up to a bleak, snow-covered clearing. At the foot of an icy cliff stood the unicorn, shivering and seemingly abandoned. "Corny, you poor little thing," said Holly. "Let's take him and run." She seized his halter, but behind him a horrible roaring scream shattered the silence. "Tappa!" said Chaka. From around the corner of the cliff shuffled a giant man-like creature covered with white fur. He approached, roaring, waving a big club. The kids turned and ran. Great blocks of ice lay against the cliff's base. At one point the ice framed a hole just big enough to squeeze into. Picture 3. Quickly they crawled in and found themselves in a narrow passage that opened into Picture 4. A high-ceilinged cavern of ice and stone. "Look, animal skins," said Holly. "Wood," added the ape boy. "Chaka make fire." Holly gazed at the wood, a jumble of long pieces lying around the cave. "They look like weapons." "Chaka, we've stumbled into his cave." No sooner had the truth struck them than, to their dismay, they heard heavy footsteps. A deep grunt. The tapper was coming in. They were trapped. Picture 5. The kids huddled behind an ice formation, hoping he wouldn't find them. "Chaka," whispered Holly, "what Anik calls a tapper is really an abominable snowman." Suddenly, Chaka sneezed. Holly gasped in dismay. They heard the tapper grunt, and the footsteps shuffled nearer. The kids crept backward until they bumped into an icy wall and couldn't go any farther. Picture 6. The tapper closed in on them, swinging his club. "Maybe eat us," said Chaka fearfully. "That gives me an idea," exclaimed Holly. "You have some cake in your bag. Give it to me, quick." Grudgingly, Chaka handed her the piece of cake. Picture 7. Mustering all her courage, Holly stepped out to meet the snowman, smiling. "Hello, we'd like to be friends. Here, have some cake. It's good. I made it." She extended her hand. The tapper muttered. Then, slowly, suspiciously, he reached out, took the morsel and popped it into his mouth. He liked it. As he grunted and gestured for more, Holly backed casually toward the cave entrance. "Don't make any sudden moves, Chaka," she said. "When we get to the entrance, we'll make a run for it." But Chaka bolted too soon, and Tapper reacted with lightning speed. Roaring, he leaped between them and the entrance. Can Holly outwit the tapper? See Reel 3. Can we at least build a fire? Holly asked the Snowman. Please, I'm freezing. Chaka, hurry and start one. Chaka scraped together some dry needles and brush, and struck sparks with his flint. Flames flickered into life. Chaka piled sticks onto the fire. The tapper reacted in fear, backing off. When I get his attention, scoot, Holly told Chaka. Picture 1. She held up a flaming stick. Look, tapper, fire! She picked up a second torch and began to dance, twirling both of them like batons. The tapper smiled in delight, and in that instant Chaka slipped out the entrance. Holly held one burning stick toward the tapper. Here, take it. It won't hurt you. He tried to seize the burning end, yelped with pain. Quickly, Holly raced out the entrance and joined Chaka. Picture 2. Hurry, she gasped as they started to lead the unicorn away. He's right behind us. Picture 3. At that instant, a familiar voice called from the mountain side below. Holly, Chaka! It's Uncle Jack, cried Holly. They've come looking for us. She called loudly. Here we are! Hurry, shouted Jack. We'll meet you at the log. Picture 4. While Holly led Chaka back across the chasm, Jack and Will pulled the unicorn across. Picture 5. The tapper reached the chasm just seconds later. He stepped out onto the log, but it began to slip and he jumped back to safety, screaming in rage and frustration. I think he's telling us, stay out of my domain, said Jack. The tapper stooped, picked up the log as if it were a toy and poised it to throw at them. Picture 6. Quickly Jack drew his pistol and fired over the creature's head. The Snowman dropped the log and shuffled away. You stay out of our territory, too, Mr. Tapper, shouted Holly. Don't you come down and steal Corny again. Picture 7. Safely back in the compound with Corny, the four attacked Holly's cake with renewed appetites. Well, I'm glad that's over, commented Will. You really had us worried, Holly, especially after Annie came and told us you two were dragging the monster. Maybe you think I'm not relieved, replied Holly. It's sort of fun being in the land of the lost. But as far as I'm concerned, I just as soon not met any more creepy monsters for a while. Right, Chaka. Chaka hungry, said the Bakuni boy. We want to add new videos every day, so please subscribe to our channel.
And if you had fun, thumbs up.